Hi there, I'm Selma Jacinto Domingos, your host. I'm an author, a speaker, leadership educator, and a life changer coach. Welcome to Selma Success TV to empower you to change your life for the better. Today, we will talk about things you must know about your relationship with money. I'm still working on my relationship with money. How about you? Our relationship with money easy for some, but complicated for many. And today we have our special guest is Sarah Leslie, upgrade coach and a mentor to help us understand more about your relationship with money. Sarah helps individual and entrepreneur who wants to elevate their lives and carve their own path to experience the money success, love, and satisfaction that their heart craves. Sarah, please, would you like to introduce yourself? I know I took a little bit about you, but please.
Hi. Yes, absolutely. So I'm Sarah Leslie, as you said, and I'm currently living in Asheville, North Carolina. My husband and I actually, for the past 3 years, have been traveling. So we're finally settled in one location and loving it. And just a little background, right? I've been a therapist for over 20 years. And about 5 years ago, I needed to make a big pivot in my own life, one of which was shifting the focus away from all of the challenges that people were dealing with. And I desired to focus on how to actually help them create the life they wanted.
Mhm.
So that's my heart and what I do now. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. I'm really very excited about, the stuff because we know that, talking about money is comfortable for so many people, but it's just so scary, and for other people. I'm really very curious. How should be like a better relationship with money? How
Yeah,
can we have, yeah,
go ahead.
please. Mhm.
It's an interesting thing, right? Money is everywhere.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
more I study it, the more I realize it really is just all around us.
Mm,
And yet, growing up, it was also for me something we really didn't talk about that much. And when
yes.
we did talk about it was talked about in a way that wasn't favorable, um, and wasn't like something that we were told to go after or to really enjoy having. It was
Yeah.
really more of this thing that was like a necessity
Hmm.
and also caused like complications, right? As a
Yeah.
little kid, I would like want a toy or want a thing. And then oftentimes the response would be like, oh no, that thing costs money and we don't have the money to buy that today. So it's an interesting thing just as you think about like where did our relationship with money even start? It starts
Yeah.
very, very young.
Yes, yeah. I also remember when I was like a little, just really talking, about money. It was like, shh, don't talk about this, and then growing up, trying to figure out like you cannot have a full life without money,
Exactly.
and it's so like complicated because it's like money is everywhere. But when you grow up with this kind of mindset, about your relationship with the money, you just can't see where the money is. But you hear
Yes.
everyone tell money is here, money is there. You just need to do this, to do that. And there is so many books, talking about, how you can have more money, how you can, be successful with your financial well-being. But still, so I really want, to really understand what is, you know, keeping people so far from achieving their goals about money. What is this like complicated relationship that we have with money?
Yeah. So, even as you think about your own childhood and the way
Yeah.
that you were taught about money and the way that you heard the adults around you talk about money, it
Yes.
really starts right there. And I know it can feel like, yeah, but I'm like in my 40s, which I am in my 40s. I'm in my
Yeah.
40s and like that doesn't make any sense that, I would still be thinking or operating from a place that would have developed in me starting around 5.
Yeah.
And yet, right, that is how the mind works. We're so, so impressionable when we're, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 growing up. We're like little sponges and we're watching everything so intently and taking it all in and then registering it and filing it away. And so if we don't actually go back and intentionally look at the files, as I'll refer to them here for just
Mhm.
a visual, then we continue to operate off of those very early childhood ways of thinking and
Wow.
believing about money. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So can we say that our relationship with money is also psychological and emotional?
Oh, 100%. I would say
Wow.
it's actually all emotional and psychological.
Wow.
Money is
So
just the physical tangible that we hold in our hands, but the way
yeah.
we actually think about it and feel about it absolutely is all about what goes on in here.
Wow. So that means like if you don't change your way of thinking about money, it's really hard for you to have a healthy relationship with the money, even if you are like making a lot of money.
Yes. I would say it's for me, again,
Mhm.
in my hundreds of conversations with people, as a therapist and now as a coach, I would say it's impossible. If we don't
Wow.
change the way we think about it, if we don't change the way we feel about it, also, right? Those are absolutely paired together, the way we think and the
Yes,
way we
think and
feel.
feel. Hmm.
It's impossible to have a healthy relationship with money. And I can say, both from my personal experience and from talking to people who have had the experience of having small amounts of money, right? Of course, that's subjective, but we'll just say a
Mhm.
small amount of money and then having a large amount of money to work with. And
Yeah.
both for myself personally and so many people I've talked to, if you worry about money, you will worry about money, whether you
Wow.
have a little or a lot.
So in this case, how should you really, think? Because, in reality, you have like the bills to pay, you have, so many other expenses. And just as a human being, you're like natural worrying about money. But how can you change your mindset, like not worrying about money, but you still know that you need the money, but it's like, okay, do I worry or no? And so how really this can
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, this is so great. I love the timing of our taping today because I'm
Yeah.
actually giving a masterclass on this afternoon. So I'm getting
Oh,
like prepared
wonderful.
as we're talking. So thank you.
You're welcome. My
So
pleasure.
yeah, to be able to shift, right? It's like, yeah, of course we need money. And, today we need this green cash that we pass around, right?
Yeah.
Like a
Hmm.
1,000 years ago, it was something different that we were exchanging with each other. And probably a
Yeah.
1,000 years from now, it will probably be something different that we're exchanging. And so it's good to recognize, like, yeah, what does money actually represent? Money is this exchange that's happening so
Hmm.
that I can acquire the things that I need, the things that I want. And really, the way I talk about it now to help people have a different experience with money, I talk about it as what they desire to have.
Mm.
So it's an exchange. And so that just thinking about it as it's an exchange takes you from the worry, right? Of
Wow.
like, oh, where's the
Yeah.
money? And I need the money. And how
Hmm.
do I get the money? And you just stop and take a little time to look at, okay, well, what are we even really talking about here?
Yeah.
Just that shift can decrease the anxiety that people tend to feel around money.
Oh, can we say like in order for you to attract the money, you have like to build this positive and healthy feeling about the money. It's like, okay, it's just temporary. And I know I don't have right now, but I will have, I don't know when, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the start, right? Of
yeah.
course. I mean, this is tends to be one of the main things that I help people with in my coaching work with folks, because it
Mhm.
is such a predominant issue. And, like you addressed earlier, most people worry about money,
Yeah.
and most people don't have um, the awareness, the knowledge of where money comes from
Mhm, mhm.
and how to allow it to easily come to them. Now, myself included, up until about 4 years ago, felt very confused still about money. And that was like one of the things that I would lean on and say, like, oh, I can't change my life to be the way I wanted to
Mhm.
because I don't have enough money. And so I
Mm.
was oftentimes blaming, we'll say blaming money. I put blaming
Yeah.
in air quotes if you're listening, blaming money for why I couldn't make the changes that I really wanted to make in my life. So it took me going through my own personal, much deeper transformation than I had ever done. I've always been a person that loves, self help, personal growth, all the things.
Yeah.
And it still wasn't enough to really help me the way that I really needed in order to what I call get liberated.
Mhm.
And so about 5 years, well, that would be about 8 years ago, I went through this just massive upheaval of really ripping into my core to be able to recognize, like, wow, I'm blaming so many different things outside of myself for why my life isn't the way I want it.
Very
So for me,
interesting.
that was like one of the huge turnarounds with my
Yeah.
relationship to money is I had to actually become willing to look at, like, hey, you're literally blaming money for why you can't figure out how to change your life. So I couldn't keep blaming money if I
Mhm.
wanted to change my life, right?
Yeah. I
So that's
yeah.
like one of those moments of awareness of, like, okay, there's more here that I need to understand about how life works, about how
Mhm.
my mind works, about how my thinking works.
Mm.
And that's when I delved into coaching and
Oh,
just really
wow.
ripped open a whole new part of life that I had not been exposed to until then.
So you have to take this conscious responsibility to change your relationship with the money in order for you really to feel that you have enough for you to change this relationship with money. Can we say
That's
that?
the start. Yeah, you could say
Mm.
that, definitely, right? We have to be willing to shift the way we're thinking about it and be willing to recognize I can't blame anyone, let alone money, for the
Mhm.
reason I'm not able to figure out how to change things for myself.
Wow, very interesting. I have this passage like in this book that then I will share also on the like
Yeah.
the soul of money, transforming your relationship with the money in the life. And there is this passage where he says, when you can see the way monies flow through your life, it gives you power to see where you are in your relationship with it and where you want to go with it. So
Yes.
powerful.
So powerful. Yes.
Wow.
And what I
So
love
you,
even about that passage, right, is you're
mhm,
shifting to seeing money is an exchange. Money is a flow in and out. Money is not something we're meant to like hold on to.
yes.
It's a thing that happens where we exchange when we want something, need something, however you want to think about it right now. I like to say when we desire something, then there's this exchange that happens.
Wow. I remember when I was, I think like growing up, I was like trying to figure out this relationship with money. And I realized too that sometimes when we talk about money, we talk like something far away, like in the sky that you cannot hold.
Mm,
It's just so far that's like, oh, it's money. It's like something out there, not like something here.
yes,
Do you think that,
absolutely.
yeah, so do you think that, maybe someone like thinking that the money is so far from him or from her, this also can help, like, better say, can be a challenge for them really to understand or to attract money in their lives?
Absolutely. Right. And it's the same thing. Certainly the way I talk about it and probably the way you talk about it is when
Mhm.
people like want anything, right?
Yeah.
Money, They want their marriage to be better. They want their business to be doing better. They want their health to be better, whatever the area is for a person. And oftentimes it's multiple areas where there's this feeling of like, it feels so far away. I
Yes.
can't figure out how to like
Read.
bring it to me.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. It's like out
Yes.
of reach. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, the way that I think about it is that all of the things, and this comes from certainly my upbringing. I
Mhm.
grew up in church and my dad was a pastor. And while there are several things that I believed and I understood and I agreed with, there were also a lot of things that I disagreed with. And I was like,
Yeah.
this doesn't make any sense. Like, and when you put these two together, like, how is this supposed to actually work?
Work.
So,
Yes.
money being one of the things, right? So for me, it was like recognizing, okay, there's this dichotomy that oftentimes happen as we're learning about something, and
Mhm.
you're being influenced by different people's perspectives on things. And so we have to also be willing to really look within ourselves and ask those hard questions like, does this really make sense? So
Yes.
for me, one of the things I've sorted out, we'll say, in my spiritual journey is this awareness of like, okay, if God created us to live happy, joyful lives,
Yeah.
and we're here, and in order to really live like extraordinary lives, as I like to call them,
Mhm.
you need money. So why
Agree.
would he make it so hard for us to have
Yes.
money?
Yes. Yes.
Right. And so
Mhm.
again, that's like what I would have learned or heard, through my little ears growing up is like money, you heard the famous line, money doesn't grow on trees.
Oh
Money
yeah.
isn't readily available. You
I
can't just
remember
go
that.
to the store and buy something. Right. Exactly. And it's like, well, why can't you? Because like, I also happen to know, again, as a child, right? You're like, yeah, but I also know that you have like plastic in your wallet that you whip out a lot of the times and are able to buy things.
Mhm.
So again, it's like sorting through all those things. And then now as an adult, being able to challenge myself and sort of, force myself to think more critically and
Yes.
separate myself from those childhood experiences and really anyone else's beliefs and just go within to ask,
Mhm.
well, if this is what I believe, which I do believe that there's a single source of life that has created us, which I simply refer to as God,
Yes. Mhm.
he wouldn't make things so hard
Hard.
for us. I believe I make things hard, right? And when I
Yes.
get lost in my thoughts and I get swayed by my fears and those places within me that feel shameful and not good enough, then yes, I can go far away from the things that I desire. I can
Wow.
go far in my mind
Yes.
from that single source of life that is like, hey, it's all right here, all around you.
Yes. Wow. So can you really say that the first step for you to change your relationship with money is change the way how you think about money,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So instead of seeing it as far away from you or
Mhm.
unattainable, not available for you based on whatever your personal circumstances are, to just decide. And I know that can sound like kind of fanciful or woo woo or what
Yes.
have you. And right, coming from scientific background, which therapy for me is a scientific background, it's a willingness just to be able to recognize like, hey, does it make sense that money or all the things that you desire would be so impossible to get a hold
Yeah.
of? No, it really doesn't. And I like to also just look to nature, right? I
Mhm.
actually saw a robin redbreast outside my window this morning, and my mom like loved robins, so naturally I love robins. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It's so easy just to look at nature and recognize like that little bird has all that it needs. It's
Yes.
not like searching for food. There's literally
That's
food
true.
everywhere. So it's,
Yeah.
yes, it's about us changing and simply being willing to say, the things that I need, want, and desire are all right here.
I just need to go and get it. And how about if someone say, okay, I will change my mind about money, I can change, and where I do find the money, how they can like produce this
Yeah.
money. Mhm.
Yeah. So literally one of the things I'm going to share today in my masterclass is the very first step is taking on this belief, I am prosperity.
Oh,
So it shifts the way you even see the concepts of where do I find it or how
yeah.
do I get more of it? It's like we got to actually first recognize like it's within us to be able to find it. So most of the time people want to go out and like really like look for it, like
Yes,
where
trying
is
to
it,
find.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I used to be there myself. And that's just not how it works. So the way it works is the money, the knowing of where the money is at for you specifically,
Mhm.
that knowledge is inside of you. So you
Wow.
start with this very first belief, which is, I am prosperity,
Great. Yes.
which literally like cuts out fear, it cuts out shame, and it cuts out any kind of doubt that the money is available for you specifically.
Wow.
And that may take a while. Sometimes it does take people like months of my working with
Just to
them to like
change
help
the
them
shift the mind.
understand
Yeah.
exactly just to shift to I am prosperity because it's I am it's three words and it contains like so much information
Yeah.
to really understand and settle into. And you're counteracting all of this training and conditioning that you've gotten over the
Mhm.
years that says things like money isn't available for people like us.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
oh, you want to be a social worker, which is the schooling I got. You want to be a
Yes.
social worker, you're never going to make any money. Now, it takes a serious level of intention to
Mm.
shift, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
hear the teachings around when we really want to change, we have to do a 180, right? We have
Wow.
to literally turn completely the other
Completely.
direction
Yeah.
away from you're never going to make that money or oh, money isn't available for people like us. You have to literally turn away from and go the other direction
Direction.
and never look back.
Wow. That's powerful. So interesting. And you mentioned that you have a master class today. Do you want to
Yeah,
share? Maybe I don't know if it's free or
it
if
is. Yeah,
someone's
it's
wants to
totally
know
free.
more about that.
Absolutely. The like best way to get a hold of me and see what I have going on is always on my personal Facebook page. I have kept it
Okay.
super simple, really, for myself.
Mhm.
So find me on Facebook at Sarah Leslie, and I have a masterclass today at 12:30, and then a masterclass next Tuesday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then again I'm going to do an exclusive invite. So if you're listening, you're invited on February 22nd at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's
Oh,
all about this
wonderful.
topic. Go all in on living your extraordinary life, which requires funds.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you so much for the invitation. Sarah,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm so grateful you are here and you are sharing. And I apologize for the noise. I don't know if you're here. There is so much noise. They are working on the building.
Perfect. Life is
Yeah,
happening, right? Life is
yeah,
messy. That's
yeah,
part of what we have to get used to.
that's true. I'm trying not to listen and just, pay attention this direction. I really want to thank you
Yeah,
so much, yeah, for being here with me today and just talking about our relationship, how we can change for better our relationship with money. And I do believe that this information will help a lot of people. And I'm so glad you had the time to be here with me and with also with you at the home and truly just trying to empower yourself and change your life. So I want to thank you,
absolutely.
our guest. Thank you so much, Sarah, and also
Thank
to
you.
you to taking the time to invest in yourself. Stay connected with us, subscribe and share, and for more information, go to my website, selmajacintodominguez.com. And to connect with our guest, I will leave all information from Sarah below so you can reach out to her on Facebook and you have all the information also about the masterclass that she's offering and it's free. So you will have a lot of information to change your relationship with the money. We all need to change our relationship with money. I'm guilty on that too. I'm still
I'm
working on
still working on it myself, right? It's an
yeah.
ever evolving process.
So thank you
Absolutely.
so much. So I will see you soon next time. And Sarah, thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome. And thank you. This was lovely.
You're welcome. My pleasure, Sarah. Bye, everyone.